Hello everyone, this is part 22 of What If Naruto Was the Child of the Moon in Percy Jackson, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
R-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-T. A boar's cry pierced through the morning air, seemingly coming out of nowhere. What was that? Percy whirled around to find the source of the squeals. It's a gift from the wild, Grover moaned in his trance. And then, it came. Small tremors that shook the earth as the boar galloped. The skeletons were sent flying over the trees and over into the side of the mountain. They were smashed to pieces, scattering thigh bones and arm bones all over the place. Luna seemed giddy at the roar of the newcomer. She was taking it as a challenge for a fight. The small puppy lowered her front legs as if ready to pounce on its prey. The massive boar raked its hooves on the ground ready for another charge, and in its path were the party from Camp Half-Blood. They raised their weapons ready for another fight. First, there was the skeletons, now, there's this giant boar. Can't they catch a break? No, apparently not. Grover slowly came to and noticed what his companions were doing. No, don't kill it, he yelled. That's the Erymanthian boar, Zoe said, keeping the calmness in her voice. I don't think we can kill it. With another loud battle cry, the boar charged and swung its tusks wildly. Everyone dove out of the way, so as not to get trampled by the giant pig or get sent flying by its massive tusks. The small puppy, though, stood its ground and ready for an attack of her own. Naruto had dived for the dire wolf and escape in a split second with the Hiraishin. This doesn't feel like a gift at all, Percy grumbled. Everyone, scatter, Zoe ordered. Each of them went their separate ways, confusing the boar for just a moment. Why does it want to kill us? Naruto wondered aloud as he ran alongside Talia. Probably cause it's wild, Grover yelled in response. Fair enough, Naruto muttered in response as he split off from Talia, causing it to follow him. Why me? Remind me again how this is a gift. Bianca yelled in between breaths as she stopped for a break. As if taking offense from the young demigod's words, the boar switched gears and bounded towards Bianca. Even as a new demigod, she was using her battle reflexes to stay alive. She rolled to safety, causing the massive pork chop plowed through town's sign. That stunned him even for a split second. It immediately regained its consciousness and continued its rampage. Grover danced around the boar trying to play a tune to bind the boar, but it kept ripping the weeds apart. Bianca and Zoe tried to fire pot shots at the boar, careful not to hit a fatal strike. What happened to my luck? Naruto said as he ran. Are you implying I'm unlucky? Talia glared at the blonde as they both ran side to side. I need to immobilize it, Naruto turned. Come on and GE. As if fate was against him, the Sage Mode took that moment to dissipate from his system. Oh shit. Why now? Stop fooling around, Talia scolded as she grabbed Naruto's hand and pulled him into a sprint. I wasn't, Naruto protested. The Sage Mode just was at its limit. Any other bright ideas? The daughter of Zeus asked. Pretty much soon, they were struggling to run uphill. They weren't the only ones hard up though, cause Big O. Bacon was slipping and sliding down as it tried to navigate the steep terrain. The two used the trees as shield from the boar tusks, but it just plowed through them like they were toothpicks on the ground. When they were close to the crest of the hill, Naruto had a mischievous grin on his face. Why do I have a bad feeling from that expression of yours? Talia asked. Oh, come on, Naruto said. It can't be that bad. I knew it, Talia shook her head. Quick, spit it out. So, Naruto told Talia what he planned to do. He finished just as they were at the top. Talia was shaken when she heard what Naruto wanted to do. Do you trust me? Naruto asked as the daughter of Zeus tried for a response, but she wasn't able to answer as the Amanthian boar was right at their faces. Scratch that, Naruto said, wrapped an arm around Talia's waist. Don't worry, I got you. What are you? Talia said as the blonde leaped over the boar as it reached the top of the hill. The boar strained to stab the demigods as they flew over its head, but it didn't notice a clone of Naruto standing on top of the hill. The clone whistled nonchalantly as he pushed the already unbalanced boar, causing it to slide back down to the bottom of the hill. Meanwhile, Talia held on tight as Naruto leaped from tree to tree. She had her eyes shut tightly, still overcome by her fear of heights. A few seconds later, Naruto jumped down the last tree and landed nimbly on the foot of the hill. "You can open your eyes now," he said as he landed. He looked uphill to see that the boar was sliding downhill, plowing through the trees that it didn't knock down. It squirmed as it fell downhill back to the waiting demigods. Talia felt around her. The wind wasn't striking her face anymore, but her heart still beat from the sudden jump. With a deep breath, she slowly let go of Naruto and felt that she was back down on the solid ground. "See, what did I tell ya?" Naruto gave him his trademark grin. Talia didn't seem amused. She gave Naruto a small glare and socked him in the arm. "Ow!" Naruto screamed, nursing his shoulder. "You know I'm afraid of heights," Talia scolded. "Well, at least I got to see you scream like a girl," Naruto joked. "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked. "Nothing." Naruto glanced to the side and scratched his cheek. "You just look cute when you're scared." Talia blushed at the compliment. Was that even a compliment though? She wasn't sure. She didn't have time to think about it as the boar made it down the hill, still on its back, trying its best to get up. Naruto got some ninja wire and immobilized the big old bacon and turned back to Talia, giving her a nice guy pose. Shortly after, Bianca, Grover, and Zoe came rushing to their aid. "Whoa," Grover said. "You did it." "Yeah, but that big old bacon sure could run," Talia said with a huff. "So, what do we do with it?" Bianca asked. "It's a blessing of the wild, our ticket west," Grover declared. "How are you so sure that this pig is our ticket west?" Talia demanded. "It almost skewered us." I'm not sure," Grover answered. It's just that feeling earlier. I wish I could look around further, but the quest." "What feeling?" Percy asked, not knowing what they were talking about. "Do you guys know what Grover is talking about? Did you not feel it in the wind?" Zoe said. "I did not think I would feel his presence again." "Who?" Percy still wasn't following. "Who else?" Naruto answered, throwing a glance at the Satyr. "Arizona desert." The boar sure traveled fast. It took them until sunset to make it to a desert area. Their ride there though was horrible. Percy described it as riding a giant steel brush over a bed of gravel, not a comfortable feeling, but who were they to be picky, except for the little puppy, of course. She was still wary of the boar, so she didn't want to get on. Naruto just sighed and told the puppy to keep up if she can. Percy was skeptical about it, but the blonde reassured him. She always somehow could find them. Right now, though, the boar was starting to slow down. It stopped to drink from a muddy puddle and then ripped up a cactus, chewing it like it wasn't pointy at all. "I guess if you're hungry, you're hungry. This is as far as it'll take us," Grover said. "We have to get down while it's eating." Nobody argued. One by one, the demigods slipped down the boar's back as it was ripping up cacti. They waddled away as quietly as possible. After chewing on its third cactus, the animal squealed and belched contentedly. It, then, whirled around and galloped back the way they came. As their ride made its way back, the shadows contorted and out came the dire wolf chaperone. "How does she do that?" Percy asked. "Is that how we lost her last summer?" Grover tried to cover the son of Poseidon's mouth before he could say that last part. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the two. "Yeah, sorry about that, Naruto," Grover apologized. "We looked everywhere, but we couldn't find her." Naruto shrugged. "Well, it wasn't your fault anyway. I just want to know where she gets that power from." They decided to leave that matter be for the time being. That wasn't the top of their priority list right now, so they looked around. "There's nothing here," Percy said. "You don't say," Bianca chimed in as the group stared at the landscape in front of them. "Well, calling it a landscape is giving it too much credit." They stood over a two-lane road half covered with sand. On one side over the road, there was a small town, if you could call it a town. There was a boarded-up house, a taco shop that looked like it didn't open in forever, and a white stucco post that read, "Gila Claw, Arizona." Beyond the town, there were rolling hills, at least they looked like hills. Getting a better look, they saw the hills were made of mounds and mounds of cars, old appliances, and other scrap metal. "Something tells me we won't get a rental cars here either," Naruto stated. "Gee, what gave it away?" Percy said, earning a playful glare from his brother. "I don't suppose you have another blessing up your sleeve." Bianca looked at the Satyr, hopefully giving emphasis on the word blessing. Grover shook his head. "Sorry, like I said earlier, the feeling is gone." We're not getting any more help. Well, that figures, Bianca sighed. The satyr's nose twitched, the way it always did when he detected something wrong. I think we should try another tracking spell. Go ahead, Zoe gave the go signal. The satyr dug a bunch of acorns from his pocket, and spread them apart on the ground. He raised his pipes to his lips and played a short melody. The acorns sprang to life and rearranged themselves into two clusters, one group with 6 acorns and one lone acorn that was larger than the others. Grover looked as if his suspicions were confirmed. This right here is us, and this one right here is trouble. Which of them is me? Percy asked. Probably the little deformed one, Naruto joked. Or that could be thee. Everyone looked up to the lone hunter as the group. Why are thee looking at me like that? Zoe said. Nothing. Naruto spoke for the whole group. In the short time he has come to know the hunter, she has always been serious. Was she warming up to them? Only Zoe could answer that question. How about that one? Bianca asked to break the ice. She was pointing at the lone large acorn that somehow pointing at the direction of the junkyard. What's that? A monster probably. Talia offered. Who knows? All I can tell is that our next challenge, he raised his finger to point at the junkyard in front of them. Well, if it's all the same to you guys, I had enough challenges for one day, Naruto suggested glancing at the lieutenant of his mother's hunt. What do you say, Teiku? I suppose you are right, Zoe nodded. We shall camp here for the night. Answer, the group set up the camp for the night. Despite looking like he wasn't prepared at all, his companions were awed when he showed them the wonders of the simple storage scroll. From a simple scroll, he was able to produce a full set of camping gear enough for the whole group. Zoe was impressed to say the least. It was similar to her own enchanted camping gear stored in the disappearing backpacks. Wow, you came prepared, Bianca said. Well, you never know when you have to camp out in one of these quests, Naruto shrugged. Being in a desert, you wouldn't expect the place to get chilly at night, so they gathered some busted up boards from the ruined house to start a fire. After that, Talia used a small electric spark to start a campfire. Pretty much soon, they were getting comfy, well as comfy as they could in a deserted, rundown ghost town in the middle of nowhere. It was quiet too. Only the sound of the crackling fire and a snoring dire wolf pup were heard that night. The stars are out, Zoe mused as she gazed up in the horizon. Countless stars dotted the sky. Without the city lights polluting the night sky, the beautiful orbs were able to shine in all the glory. It was truly a breathtaking sight to see. I haven't seen so much stars in the sky before, Bianca was wowed by the sight. This is nothing, Zoe said. In the old days, there are a lot more constellations in the night sky, but then humans came along and polluted the sky with their light pollution. HMPH, you've got to see the stars in the elemental nations. They're always amazing until now. Naruto bragged. You and the others should go there sometime. If we have the time, Zoe said. There is the hunt and all. Wait, why does it sound like you aren't human? Percy asked, realizing something. I am a hunter. It goes without saying that I care for the wild places, unlike the humans. Can you say the same? Zoe raised an eyebrow. You've got to relearn the language, Zoe, Talia said. It's not thee or thou anymore, it's just you now. Zoe threw her hands up in exasperation. This language changes far too often. Grover gazed up at the night sky once again. If only Pan was here. He would know what to do. He would make things right. Zoe nodded in agreement. It must have something to do with the coffee, Grover muttered. Yeah, it must be it. Perhaps I should drink more. I don't think that's it, Grover, Naruto shot down his idea. But it's the only lead I've got. He reasoned. What else could it be? Was that really Pan who sent us help? Percy asked. Maybe you just want it to be the case. Everyone contemplated on everything that happened. The mysterious wind, the toy rat coming to life, Naruto going into sage mode. He sent us help, Grover reaffirmed his beliefs, he was more determined than ever. I don't know why, but it was his presence. It's the closest feeling I got, even closer than when I sensed the golden fleece on Polyphemus's island. Yeah, when you almost got married, Naruto snickered, causing the satyr to blush up to his ears. Did you say married? Bianca asked, curious about the sudden gossip and the satyr's reaction. How did that happen? No. It's nothing. Grover stood up abruptly, waving his hands in front of him. Percy chuckled and changed the subject. Whatever that was, it sure was a big help to us, especially against the skeletons. Speaking of the skeletons, Talia began. What's your dagger made of? She asked the youngest demigod of the group. Yeah, how did you do that? Naruto asked. No matter how many times we knocked them down, they kept coming back up. Bianca shrunk into her lion's coat. Everyone had their eyes on her. She wasn't used with all the attention. I don't know, honest. Maybe it has something to do with your knife, Percy offered. It's the same dagger from the camp shed, the same as everyone else's. I don't think this is the reason, Bianca reasoned. Perhaps you hit a weak point or something like that, Zoe offered. I don't know, maybe, her voice trailed off. Seeing Bianca get uncomfortable by the constant barrage of questions, Naruto saw it fit to change the subject. No more of the doom and gloom stuff about the quest. Hey, I just realized, Naruto began breaking the ice. It's almost Christmas. The others came to the same realization, except for Zoe. Flashes of the signs and decorations they passed came to mind. They were so absorbed into the quest that they didn't even notice the festivities. I don't suppose anyone has any plans this year, Percy asked. Nah, now that my mom's no longer with us, Talia said with sadness in her voice. I don't have anywhere to go to. Same here, Bianca said. Why don't you guys join us on Christmas Eve? Naruto suggested. Mom will be more than happy to have guests over, right Percy? Of course, Percy chimed. My mom is the best cook. Though, I would have to warn you now to not be surprised at the food, Naruto snickered glancing at the food. In the house, blue food is perfectly normal. Hey, you make mom dye the food orange too. Percy protested. Talia, Bianca, and Grover chuckled at the two boys' interaction as they made the plans. Zoe, though, was feeling left out at the conversation. She's been in the hunt for millennia now, never in her life had she planned for something like this. Well, to be fair, she was older than the very concept of Christmas, but still. You guys can come too if you want. Naruto finally said. Zoe looked up, huh. I mean, you guys are my sisters. I'm sure she wouldn't mind meeting you guys. I mean she accepted me into their home even before she adopted me, Naruto said. There was that word again. This boy, no matter how mean they were to him, he never retaliated. He was hoping that they would accept him. We'll have to tell the mistress, she said, her voice trailing off. In any case, we should plan our next move, her voice picked up once again trying to change the subject. Once we get past this junkyard, we can hitchhike to the nearest city. That would probably be Las Vegas. The three boys exchanged looks and simultaneously let out a round of nervous laughs, causing the girls to give them odd looks. Only Bianca seemed to get what was happening. Why? Was it something I said? Zoe inquired. Why don't we choose another city? Naruto suggested. What's wrong with Las Vegas? Talia asked, getting curious. Percy and Grover glanced at Naruto, the rest following suit. This prompted him to scratch the back of his head sheepishly. Well, he began. To illustrate his point, he dug his pockets and produced his platinum card with a lotus logo on it. Bianca shuddered at the thought. I agree with Naruto. We should look for another place to pass through and avoid the whole city altogether. Trust us, you don't want to go near the Lotus Hotel. Wait, what's the Lotus Hotel? Talia asked, still not getting the point. Why are we avoiding it? That place is where the Lotus Eaters chose to set up shop when everything migrated to America, Grover explained. I hate that place, Percy said. We ended up rushing the completion of our quest a couple of years ago when we stayed there for 5 days, even though it only felt like an hour. If that place is so bad, then why do you keep the cash cards, Naruto? Everyone turned the blonde. Hey, who am I to refuse free money? Naruto shrugged. Besides, I'm fine as long as I don't enter the hotel. He, then, perked up as if remembering something important. Hey, wait a minute. What's up? Percy asked. If Bianca is from the 1900s or something like that, should we call you Barkan? Naruto joked, but it flew right over their heads, not understanding the word. What does that mean? Grover voiced everyone's question. It means old lady, Zoe translated. Hey, Bianca protested, throwing a marshmallow at the blonde. I may be from 1930, but I don't look old. Do you see wrinkles anywhere? Naruto chuckled, sorry I could help it. If anything, Zoe, Percy began riding on Naruto's joke, but Grover placed a hand on his shoulder telling him to watch his words carefully. Look man, Grover warned. You don't want to go there. After another round of laughter and slurps of their coffee, they were hit by the blazing headlights of a limousine that appeared out of nowhere. Everyone grabbed their stuff and moved out of the way as the luxury car screeched to a halt in front of them. The back door of the car opened. Everyone drew a weapon just in case what emerged from the limo was not friendly. Before Percy could react, an invisible force grabbed him and slammed him onto the car. This caused everyone to tense and grab their weapons ready to attack whatever it was. Geez, can't a god get any respect around here? A gruff voice that Percy and Naruto knew all too well said as it descended the car. Stand down. With a wave of his hand, all the weapons dropped to the ground. Ares-sama, Naruto grit his teeth upon recognizing the big and burly man that came out of the limo. What do you want, Lord Ares? Grover confronted the god. Relax, goat boy. This is a friendly meeting, Ares said. Of course, I would very much like to take your heads as trophies, but I don't behead people in front of a lady. Oh. Don't mind us, Talia said sarcastically. We'll be fine. Ah. My little half-sister, I heard you were back. Ares looked her over, releasing his grip on the son of Poseidon. So, how was it like being a tree? Word on the street is you're dating Whisker Face over here. That's not true. Naruto and Talia snapped as they blushed furiously. Great, cause that would be a horrible idea, Ares shook his head. Not very good company at all. Thou still haven't told us what thou want, Talia reminded him. What is thy business here? Don't worry, I doubt she came here to see you, Ares waved her off. She came here for these two. Naruto and Percy looked at each other with the same question bugging their mind. What? Later. It wasn't so bad. Ares got everyone to agree by giving them free tacos for dinner. Even Grover, who was skeptical at first, was the first to run into the taqueria at the mention of enchiladas. So much for being cautious. You could just imagine the look on his face when he learned that there was all-you-can-eat enchiladas being served. So now, everyone was picking at their food, well, everyone except Grover, who slurped his enchiladas like there was no tomorrow as they waited for Percy, who was sitting in the car talking to Ares' girlfriend. Is there something we should be worried about? Bianca asked to break the ice. As long as Percy minds his manners, he won't get turned into a frog, Grover said in between mouthfuls. Who are we talking about here? She asked again, curious to find out. Only the most insufferable goddess there is. And the most dangerous, Grover added. Aphrodite. At the mention of her name, Percy entered the taco shop with a faraway look on his face. Yo, Percy. Naruto greeted with tacos still in his mouth. How'd it go? Good, I guess. He looked at Naruto with a hint of bitterness that quickly disappeared. By the way, you're up. Naruto stood up and stretched. All right, let's get this over with. As he walked to Tar car, he saw Ares sneering at him. Once he was close, the god of war spoke up, careful, brat. This is one goddess you don't want to anger. A lot worse than even you. Naruto feigned surprise. Watch your mouth, punk, I still have that curse on you, Ares glared at him. Before things could escalate, the door opens and a chill ran up the god's spine. What's taking so long? A sweet voice came from the inside of the car. Right, I'll get him inside, he answered and gestured Naruto to enter the limo. Funny, something actually scared the god. Naruto chuckled to himself as he sat inside. When he turned to look at who will speak to him, he almost choked on his spit. If he were to describe her, I guess you could say, breathtaking. Uzumaki Naruto, she said addressing the boy. It's so nice to finally meet you. Yawn. Nico stretched as he entered cabin 11 to turn in for the night. It was a tiring day as usual. That new teacher sure worked everyone hard. Sure, there were complaints here and there, but they knew it was for their own good. Inside cabin 11 though, the campers there seemed to always have energy left for pranks and jokes despite how hard they worked. Wait till they come back in the summer, Travis joked to his brother. I'll say, Connor chuckled. They'll be in for a surprise when they get here. Yeah, I bet they'll regret coming back, Travis said back. In any case, Travis clapped his hands together. Everyone, get ready for bed. We are in for another heck of a day tomorrow. Nico watched the counselors exchange as he sat on his sleeping bag on the floor. What happened next, though, chilled him to the bone. As he sat there getting ready for bed, a chill ran up his spine followed by a whisper that spoke next to his ear. Nico. The young demigod turned around to check who was behind him, but only saw one of his cabin mates giving him an odd look. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost, he asked. The counselors noticed this and walked over to him to make sure he was okay. Is something bothering you, Nico? The said demigod was pale after what happened, but he tried to keep a brave face. I don't suppose this camp is haunted, is it? Travis and Connor shared a look and turned back to him. Do you have any missing stuff? Travis asked. Nico shook his head. No, it's just, I don't know what that was. Well, if it makes you feel better, in my time in this cabin, I've never once felt anything weird or creepy, Connor reassured the boy. I assure you, if your stuff is mysteriously missing, that's the work of one of my siblings, not some ghost, all right. Travis added. Nico pushed the encounter to the back of his mind. Without anything to explain what happened, he just shrugged it off and did as his seniors told. All right, lights out everyone, Connor announced. Nico got as comfortable as he could in the sleeping bag and drifted off into dreamland. Instead of his usual dreamless sleep though, he now found himself face to face with someone he didn't know. Before him stood a very tall imposing man in white robes with a thin royal circlet of gold resting on his head. He had a beard that was pointed like a spear blade, and cruel glittering eyes. His body shimmered for a second, showing Nico that the being that stood in front of him wasn't human. Nico D'Angelo, the ghost said. We meet at last. Who are you? Nico confronted the man, Ghost. How do you know who I am? The man, Ghost, raised his hand to stop the boy from barraging him with questions. Relax, Nico. I am only here to talk. What do you want from me? Nico asked. Well, where do I begin? Gila Claw, Arizona. Naruto had to slap himself for a second there. For a moment, the lady in front of her looked like Sakura. Then, as fast as Sakura's face appeared, the lady's appearance was changed to a girl with long black hair with bangs that swept on each side of her face and violet blue eyes. She was wearing makeup consisting of pink eyeshadow and red lipstick. She was wearing a green blouse over a pink jacket with brown gloves. Naruto could have sworn he remembered this face from somewhere, he must have just forgotten the name. That face too was changed to a face of Annabeth, then the face of an actress that he and Percy saw in a movie once. Ah, you get the picture. Long story short, it was like looking at a kaleidoscope of ever-changing faces. He found himself ogling at the lady in front of him, so he focused himself and once again looked at the lady in front of him. In doing so, he noticed that the family resemblance. He remembered that one cabin in camp, the cabin that had all, but created a fan club for him. Aphrodite-sama, Naruto bowed as well as he could while he sat in the car. To what do I owe this meeting? Oh. Nothing special, Aphrodite shrugged. I was on a date with Ares when he happened to come across you lot in the middle of nowhere. Right. Naruto bought the goddess explanation. So, I heard you went back to the elemental nations for a vacation, Aphrodite continued. How did you like my little surprise for you when you got there? What do you mean? He asked, not knowing what she was talking about. Oh, come on, you can be honest with me, the goddess giggled. Aren't you wondering why somebody suddenly turned to Mr. Popular when you went home? Wait, the memories suddenly were accessed in the blonde's mind, Sakura not once pummeling him to death every time he breathes in her general direction, the jealous glances she was giving Talia when they went out with Grover, Ino suddenly asking him to go for some barbecue, Hinata awkwardly trying to talk to him. No, wait. That was normal. Well, that was it, actually. That was you. Naruto inquired. Why? Yes, of course. She confirmed. After breaking hearts, the next thing on my list is a love rivalry, because, you know, nothing beats the drama of a little love rivalry. Naruto sighed. No wonder they were all over me all of a sudden. He pushed that thought aside. This must have been what Sasuke felt with all the fangirls chasing, though to a lesser extent, less extreme extent. Surely that's not the only thing you wanted to talk to me about. He said, eager to change the subject. Well, that sounds about it, Aphrodite shrugged. For a second there, though you came to help on the quest, Naruto's body drooped for a moment. The quest for Artemis. The goddess frowned. Frankly, I couldn't care less about her. She's always a hopeless case, always blowing off love ever since. Ahem. Naruto cleared his throat, getting the love goddess's attention. With all due respect, Aphrodite-sama, you are kind of forgetting who you're talking to here. Aphrodite chuckled nervously. Oh right, sorry, force of habit. I meant no offense though, I just meant that if they were to kidnap a goddess, why not kidnap someone with more finesse, so we could have a real damsel in distress. I still don't follow. Naruto stared at her with a deadpanned expression. Well, I am here to offer some advice, Aphrodite chuckled nervously. When you learn to love, you are prone to heartbreak when you lose that love. Probably the reason why the other girls joined the hunt, Naruto interjected, causing Goddess to pause. In playing with their love lives, you kinda helped your so-called enemy. That, Aphrodite looked away, puffing her cheeks in annoyance. You have a point. It was just a theory, ya know. Naruto quickly dropped for fear of angering the goddess. In the process, he let out his verbal tick. Right, anyway, she continued. Love can also heal wounds open from past heartaches. And you're telling me this because. Naruto pressed for an answer. Well, the love goddess winked. That would be spoiling the fun now, would it? Naruto pouted at the cryptic answer. Any more vague messages I should know about? Oh, come on. Don't be like that, the Olympian waved him off. I have just one more warning. I already told Percy this, but I think I should tell you this as well. Beware of my husband's junkyard. He is a little fussy about the trash he throws there. Figures. Naruto looked over to the junkyard, then turned back to the goddess. Speaking of your husband, no offense, but for a love goddess, you seem to love to ignore your husband so much and go fool around with Ares. You make yourself seem like a lust goddess instead of love. Naruto said, making sure to put up the silence seals to prevent the eavesdropper from listening in. Choose your next words carefully, demigod, she answered. You must be forgetting who you are speaking with. I beg your pardon if I stepped out of line, Aphrodite-sama, but I am merely stating some facts, Naruto apologized. Do you really love your husband? Well, this had been the arrangement for millennia. I leave him to his little workshop, and I can go on as much dates I want, she explained. Besides, it's pretty much obvious that he prefers his machines more than me. So, but I must admit, that old fool can be thoughtful at times, he does give me those wonderful gifts. After millennia, even a girl like me was slowly falling even though the marriage was forced, Aphrodite mused to herself. Though, it is hard to talk to him at times. I just can't stand to see what Hira did to him. Still, that doesn't excuse you cheating on him, does it? Naruto said. And here I thought love was supposed to be on what's the inside and not solely on what's on the outside. Aphrodite was silent. She stared at this mere mortal who was schooling her on her love life and on her domain as well. Is that all you want to say? If your only problem is his appearance, then couldn't gods change their appearance? Or if he really couldn't, maybe Uncle Apple could do something about it. Naruto suggested. The love goddess gained a thoughtful expression. She had just purposefully went astray just based on appearance alone, and never once thought for a fix. The answer to hers and Hephaestus's marital problem was within her reach all along, and she never once thought about it. You know, I haven't even considered that. Very well, Naruto, you may go. With that, Naruto bowed and proceeded to open the car door, only to hear someone groan in pain. The owner of said voice immediately got in his feet and grabbed Naruto by the collar of his shirt. Why you little? Hey, how was I supposed to know you were peeping on the window like that? Naruto defended himself. Aphrodite cleared her throat, causing the god of war to soften. So, are you ready for the reservation tonight? Ares asked with a sly voice. Or do you want to skip it and move straight to the spicy stuff? Maybe we could skip the spicy stuff and just have dinner tonight, Aphrodite countered. Don't be like that, Ares pushed. I know you like it too. I changed my mind. I'm not in the mood anymore, Aphrodite shrugged. But the plans, Ares sputtered. Plans change, she said. Ares frowned and glared at the blonde spectator. You have something to do with, don't you? What? Naruto gave him an odd look. Why are you blaming your Shay life problems on me? Ares fumed, but he immediately backed down when Aphrodite once again cleared her throat. Are you going to keep me waiting all night? I'm hungry and impatient. The war god slammed the door shut, but the window lowered and Aphrodite got one last word out. Take care, Naruto. I have so many plans for you. Don't die tonight. And with that, the limousine sped off. Naruto turned to his friends. Luna didn't seem to be happy that Ares was with them, so Bianca had to stop the dog from getting on the god of war's bad side. So, there they were standing in front of where the taco restaurant should be, but it was gone. Not just that, the whole town was gone. What did you two do for the love goddess to want to talk to you? Bianca asked. Naruto and Percy looked at each other, with a look of understanding between the two boys. They didn't want to tell them about what they talked about with the love goddess. Only Grover was the one who shared the two boys' look. Thanks to the empathy link he set up with his two best friends, he could read the two boys' emotions, so he had an idea on how the conversation went. Thank the gods, though, he didn't say anything. He just held the contented look on his face. The same face he had after Enchilada Day in Yancy Academy, but it was much, much better. She came to give a warning about the junkyard. It was Naruto who began earning a bark from the group's mascot. Zoe narrowed her eyes. Aphrodite would not make a special trip to meet the two of you just to tell you that. I agree with Zoe, Talia added. You can't trust her. There might be a catch to whatever it is she offered you. So, I don't suppose any of you still want to camp here any longer. Percy changed the subject in order to stop any more questions about their conversation. You think that town had GGG ghosts? Naruto stuttered out as he remembered the town had disappeared. Talia gave Naruto a teasing look. So, the great Naruto is actually afraid of something. I guess I have something to hold over your head now. Shut up. Naruto sputtered out in his native language, but he quickly snapped back with a dramatic finger pointed at the daughter of Zeus. You're not one to talk. Geez, I'm kidding. Talia ruffled the blonde's head. Besides, it was most probably the god's magic that created the abandoned town and caused it to disappear. Naruto cleared his throat, finally calming down. I knew that. With a loud sigh, Zoe hit both with the side of her hands, causing the two to glare at the hunter. Ow, they both said. That will be enough out of the two of you lovebirds, Zoe said with that last part filled with venom in her voice. It's best we keep moving. But does anybody have a compass? Percy asked hopefully. Unnecessary, Zoe said, like Percy should know about this, and motioned over to the right direction. West is in that direction. Wow, that was awesome, Bianca said. How did you know? Ursa Major, right. Naruto answered for their team captain. That constellation is in the north. Where? Percy said, trying to look for any signs of a bear in the sky. I'm surprised you know about that, Zoe said. I thought thou would be in the same boat as that boy. Well, I didn't stay up the roofs of Yancy Academy just staring at the stars at night, Naruto explained. I don't see it in the sky, but you are talking about the bear thing, right? Percy said. Treat the bear with some respect. It was a worthy opponent. Zoe took offense with the words that the son of Poseidon's words said. Did you happen to fight that bear a long time ago? Naruto asked curiously. I did, but that is not important. Zoe closed the matter. We best go. Lead the way. Zoe led them towards the direction she pointed at. The path led them to a gate that a regular mortal would just look over, but if you were a demigod, you would definitely notice the Eta symbol etched on one of the posts, confirming Aphrodite's warning from earlier that this was her husband's junkyard. They decided not to destroy the gate, so as not to incur the wrath of the smith god. Luckily for them, Talia knew her way around a lock. Perhaps her time on the run as a kid had taught her some street smarts. Anyway, they entered the junkyard and immediately replaced the lock to how they found it. From there, it was a straight shot through the winding paths in between the mountains of refuse. You smell something funny, girl? Naruto asked his pup, but she shook his head. At one time while they were walking, Talia had to slap Grover's hand from almost snacking on a solid gold crown that looked like it had been split by an axe. Did you already forget her warning, goat boy? Talia slapped Grover in the back of his head, causing him to spit out the bit he chewed off. Sorry, I get hungry when I'm nervous, Grover apologized. But you just ate a ton, Bianca said in disbelief. Well, that's one of the wonders of Grover's stomach, Naruto joked, causing the goat to blush. You're one to talk, Grover countered. You eat just as much as me. That's. Naruto didn't get to think of a comeback as Zoe shushed them, reminding them that they are in unfamiliar territory and they must be on guard against whatever might attack them in the middle of nowhere. Hey, they were demigods. It's part of the job description. They continued walking through the junkyard, trying to keep the satyr in line. It was certainly a hard time. His hands always managed to have something to munch on, which Naruto and Talia would catch him almost biting a chunk out of. I can't believe this stuff is junk, Bianca commented. You think the stuff is real gold? As enticing, it is to look at. Those things are thrown here for a reason, Naruto said. He is right, Zoe nodded. As the love goddess had said, anything thrown here must stay here. It might be defective, or worse, cursed. I see. Bianca was about to leave the topic be when he saw a weapon similar to what was slung over Hunter's shoulder. Hey look, isn't that a hunter's bow? Zoe studied the bow. Her expression held a hidden pain that she didn't want to show to the rest of the group. It was like she had held the bow's owner in her arms as her life escaped her mortal flesh. This didn't go unnoticed to the blonde, who placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, earning a glare from Hunter's lieutenant. Okay, maybe she's not warming up to him yet. Eep. Bianca broke them from a near confrontation when she jumped. When her fingers were mere inches from the silver weapon, the bow suddenly shrunk to hair clip, causing her to jump. We should keep moving, Zoe said as she knocked Naruto's hand off her shoulder. Deciding to let that one go, Naruto joked as they began to get on the move again. Say, if Grover accidentally eats some cursed stuff, should we just leave him here? Suddenly, spitting noises were heard from the satyr who had just bit the top of a battle axe. Did you say CC cursed? Don't worry man, Naruto continued. A little curse won't keep you down, right? Not funny man, Grover said, throwing the axe back to the pile. Needless to say, Grover kept his hands to himself for the rest of the way out of the junkyard. Percy gained a smug expression as they saw the end of the junkyard within sight. He said, that was easy. Maybe that tracking spell was. He didn't get to finish his statement as he was slapped at the back of the head by an angry daughter of Zeus. Don't jinx his seaweed brain. I guess he didn't learn his lesson from that bus incident, Naruto added. What? Bianca asked. A bus had blow up cause Percy jinxed us, Naruto explained. Hey, that wasn't my fault. How was I supposed to know I mean the kindly ones were going to find us? Percy defended himself. You blew up a bus. Bianca almost screamed. Why'd you? No, we didn't, Naruto explained. Long story short, a fight broke out, and a lightning bolt blew up the bus cause something was trying to kill Percy. I don't know if I want to hear this or not, Bianca said, not sure of what to make of the new tidbit of information she just gained. Well, that's in the past now, Grover shrugged. We can tell you the story after this quest. At the end of that conversation, they were face to face with something that looked like a metal mesa that was the size of a football field. At one end of the mesa was a row of 10 thick metal columns wedged together, almost like. They looked like toes, Bianca frowned. Really large toes, Grover corrected. The veterans of the group shared nervous looked. Let's go around, Talia suggested. Far around. But the exit is right there. Percy protested. Bong. Everyone drew their weapons as a low hollow sound came from the direction of the feet. Grover had a sheepish look on his face. What did you do? Zoe demanded. Nothing, Grover copied Naruto's signature expression. I just don't like fake feet. Zoe bought the satyr's excuse and turned to the son of Poseidon. She is right, boy. We must avoid it. Percy looked to Naruto to see if someone might get on his side, but even he agreed with the two. He sent one last look at the giant toes and said, fine. After a few minutes of more walking later, they made it to the last hurdle to get out of the junkyard. It was a massive mountain of garbage blocking the way. They looked left and right, but they were surrounded by more mounds of garbage. Looks like we're climbing, Naruto said. Nobody answered. There was nothing they can do, but Percy looked like he wanted to say that they should have just left the compound earlier. He was holding it in though. Luna was a surprisingly great climber. She scaled the mountain of garbage ahead of her companions so fast that she was the first to reach the peak and slide down to the other side. Grover was quick too. Maybe the goat in him allowed him to do so. Who knows? He was followed by Zoe, who Naruto made go ahead, Talia and Percy, and lastly Naruto, who was helping Bianca climb the thing. The blonde decided not to use his ninja skills to make the job easier this time so that he can teach Bianca how to climb. She has got to learn her life skill, you know. Zoe, now, was almost to the top of the mountain of garbage. As she was about to grab onto the last piece of garbage and pull herself up to the peak, the appliance she was stepping on broke off. She lost her footing because of that, causing her to fall back down. She was about to right herself and grab onto something when she felt a hand grab onto her wrist. It was Naruto, looking relieved that he made it in time. He had let Bianca hold on tight to something so he could reach out. Whoa, are you okay? As soon as he said that, a familiar voice spoke in her head. What's the matter, pretty one? Her expression steeled as bitter memories flooded her mindscape. She regained her footing and yanked her hand from the blonde. Mind thy own business next time. I can handle myself, Zoe said. Naruto decided to let it go, seeing the pained expression on her face. Gotcha. Naruto, the blonde looked back to Bianca. Her hands were now trembling, unable to carry herself longer. I can't hold it any longer. Don't worry. I got you, Naruto said, holding onto the younger demigod so he could assist her in her ascent. They resumed their climbing in silence. Only Bianca's breaths could be heard that night. She was still a newbie at this. She got tired easily. Over with Zoe, she seemed to get angrier by the thoughts that had been returning to his head somehow. Do not worry, pretty one. The voice said. It was painful to remember, but why was it coming back now of all times? Did her mistress's child have something to do with this? Was it because he reminded her of him? All boys are the same, so it makes sense, right? She shook those thoughts out of her head. That is not the way to think, especially in the middle of this quest. She could sort this out later. When she came to, she made it down the mountain. She looked up and saw Bianca enjoying herself as she slid down the mountain. See, that was fun, right? Naruto told the younger demigod. That was hard, but I kind of enjoyed it too, Bianca answered. I am just glad we finally made it out of the junkyard, Zoe said. That was a cue for a series of events to occur. A sound that was very reminiscent of something booting up pierced throughout the quiet night. The mountains of garbage began to boil, like something buried under them was whirring to life. It was then that Grover realized. Wait, those things really were toes. If that's the case, then we're doomed. Talia said. We should run for it. Percy suggested. Way ahead of you. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.